Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Buck Ballsy.
And I'm Emmett Flores. Welcome to another episode of Kush and Chemtrails.
Kush and Chemtrails?
Yeah.
Hey, we're back.
Episode 12.
Glad to be back.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
What's going on, player?
Man, chilling, smoking, drinking,
Feeling
thinking.
good. Thinking.
Feeling good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, smoking, drinking, thinking.
That's what's up.
I love it.
Hey,
My favorite things to do.
back in the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I got here safely in my new ride, man. I got me some new wheels, man.
The motherfucker got a brand new Wraith.
Oh, man, it was about time, man. The podcast has been doing good, man. Life has been doing good, you know. Got some of that pandemic money. No, all bullshit aside, my car was breaking down on me, and, you know, me and my wife have been wanting to get a minivan or something bigger for the family anyway, and it was a chance for me to upgrade, and I'm just thankful because, you know, all of us need some transportation that's dependable. And then also, I had got hit on the freeway. They got some salute, brother, salute. They got some terrible drivers over there where I live at now. I got hit on the freeway and I had to fight for 2 months, man. So what I would implore people to do, if you get into an accident and you don't get a police report, because it was just a minor accident. I didn't see the need to get a police report. Nobody was hurt. It was pretty straightforward. They were at fault. They weren't fighting it on the scene. But of course, you know, once it comes to getting the insurance involved, then they want to change their story. So I would implore everybody to get them on camera on the scene of the accident saying what happened, because that would help you. But I ended up winning, man, so we're going to get the car fixed, man. So we had some bad luck when it comes to automobiles, and now things are turning up, man, so I'm happy, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
The darkest hour is just before dawn.
There it is.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You got to appreciate the dark to know the light.
You know it.
We trying to shine the light on the darkness.
Yeah, buddy.
Speaking on that, man, so we often talk about children being the future and the youth.
Is that lighter?
Obviously this podcast isn't for the youth because, you know, we speak pretty open and profane.
This is not.
But in our personal lives, we try to implore, you know, our children to be independent thinkers and critical thinkers and just great human beings, and try to change the world how we see fit for the best for all, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get all gushy, but what I'm saying is, like, the cartoons, the way that they get into the minds of the youth and us, man. You know, we grew up on the Nickelodeon, and
I grew up on Scooby-Doo, bro.
There you
I'm
go.
older than you.
Yeah, well, shoot, Scooby-Doo. I know about Scooby-Doo too. That's the thing. Some of those classic cartoons never go away because Scooby-Doo is still around.
Yeah.
But I trip on the history of some of these things, man, because oftentimes as parents, you put your kids in front of this television and you don't even know what's the agenda behind it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I want to look up the origin of Nickelodeon even. That wasn't even something I wanted to delve into, but when I just said it, I remembered, like, Nickelodeons go back to, like medieval times maybe. I'm going to look up the definition real quick and tell you, because we just think of the Nickelodeon, the channel, you know what I mean? But let me see. Here it is.
But it's an actual thing.
Yeah, for sure. A jukebox, originally one operated by the insertion of a nickel coin.
That makes sense.
A movie theater with an admission fee of 1 nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course they took that from, you know, some older things that that's how mediums probably started being spread, and then they took it and made it into the Nickelodeon.
Right.
But like television, me and you have talked about that. And the thing about it is, like we said, this podcast is for adults. And adults have a way of understanding the difference, some of us, between fact and fiction and entertainment and reality. However, for children, they shape what we see as our reality. And that's a funny thing that I'm saying adults can decipher. And maybe that's the problem me and you have, is maybe adults can't decipher because a lot of the reality that we've been given has been shaped by the media and the cartoons and the the sitcoms and the things we loved and grew up with that make us feel warm when you hear that entrance song, that theme song, you know?
Right.
We tie some of our memories.
Making your way in the world today.
There it is.
Takes everything you got.
Hey.
Taking a break from all your worries.
Tell me that don't feel good.
Sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Come on.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came.
Welcome to Kush And Chemtrails. How are you doing today? Thank you for stopping in.
You wanna be where you can see.
No, bring some friends.
Your
Have a
troubles
seat.
are all the same.
Tell them all. Come on.
You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Woo, woo.
Like that?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
That is pretty, makes me feel great.
It does, man. So I don't want to take these memories from us. And these are the conversations I have with my wife. It's not about taking these memories from our children. It's about reshaping them and building them for a purpose that is ours instead of just letting a narrative be fed to you over and over and over again and you turning a blind eye. So that's why I wanted to talk about some of these things. And I even mentioned to you before we get into some of this, I thought it was going to be a conversation of, okay, the cartoons I grew up with, like you said, Scooby-Doo. And I started thinking of like the Care Bears or like.
What about Tom and Jerry?
Oh, even
Remember
older.
I told you, hey, Tom and Jerry, check this out, guys. Fun fact. Tom versus Jerry. The British in World War II were called Toms and the Germans were called Jerrys.
There we go.
That's why Tom is against Jerry.
Here we go. Let's decode some of this stuff, man. And that goes way back.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Since we're going to go back there, that's what it made me do. It stopped me from just talking about cartoon names that I wanted to talk about that would make people reminisce, you know, which we'll probably get to as this conversation goes on, you know, because I know people want to talk about Thundercats. Oh, you know what I mean? And the cool cartoons they grew up with. But Steamboat Willie, that's the name of the cartoon that introduced Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Yeah. And it also introduced like sound effects and the concept of like the slapstick and the violence in cartoons that we still see utilized today because it was something that worked, you know, people took to it, you know. But I bring that up to say that it goes to show that although we look at cartoons as a medium for the youth, oftentimes it was never really intended for the youth, you know.
No. It wasn't. The original cartoons were adults watching it.
Because there's an episode with Donald Duck, and he's straight doing it's a banned episode, but you can still find it on YouTube, and he's like pretty much saluting Hitler.
Yeah,
and
I watched it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's interesting because, you know, they go through this whole thing about trying to make the Nazis, not trying to, but depicting the Nazis as, you know, loud and pompous and demanding and pushing him and working him and making him do all this stuff. And then he wakes up and it's a dream. And then in the shadow, he sees like what it appears to be another Hitler salute, but it's actually the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
Cast in a shadow, and he looks and he's like, oh, America, I'm so happy, you know what I mean? So I saw like, wow, so this was a propaganda tool from the very inception of it. So it started off as, let me talk about Captain Planet, you know, and how come more cartoons aren't like Captain Planet? You know, this is what made me want to talk about this stuff, because I was like, I want my kids to see things like Captain Planet, you know what I mean? Call me an idealist or whatever, you know what I mean? But basically things with a purpose, you know? So I was like, wow, let me look deeper into this. And then I was like, okay, so Snow White was the first full length Disney film. And again, you're looking at like concepts that are a dark concept. And then also you had, I think. Do
you know the story behind Snow White?
Go ahead. Speak on it, please.
Snow White is cocaine. And the 7 dwarves are the 7 symptoms you get from cocaine use.
Ooh, see, I
Sleepy, grumpy.
I love it, man.
I swear to God.
I love it.
Do you know Stephen King's movie Misery? Have you seen that? You've never seen Misery?
Nah.
Okay, you know who Kathy Bates is?
No.
Okay. That's like the first movie I remember her from. But basically, that movie, this is what happened real quick. This author gets caught in a snowstorm, gets in a car accident. She finds him. She's a fan of his and wants him to write a book, but he can't think of an ending for the book, and he's hurt real bad. And he writes an ending. Finally, he realizes this bitch is crazy. Like, I'm gonna write it. She basically has his full captive because he's injured, and it's like all snowy outside. And then he writes the ending. She fucking snaps. She hates the ending. He tries to escape and shit, and she fucking breaks his legs with like sledgehammers. It's like a classic scene, bro. She puts this fucking block of wood between his legs and just fucking hits each foot and like smashes his ankles. Yes, exactly.
Vulgar.
Yeah. So, anyways, it turned out that Stephen King said he wrote that as a metaphor for his cocaine addiction and his writer's block. He was the author. The snowstorm was him addicted to cocaine. Misery was the woman's name in the book that he was writing or whatever. And then there was the I forget what her name was, what Kathy Bates' character name was, but his writer's block and all that. And it was a metaphor for him being addicted to cocaine and having writer's block. That's what the entire movie was about. And then that brings me to Snow White, which brings me to what you were saying about darker concepts.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Where you're
It's an LSD trip.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
It's an LSD trip. That's what Alice in Wonderland is. And then you look at certain characters in there, like the Mad Hatter. They used lead. They used to, hatters, people that used to make hats, they used lead in the making of hats, and they used to actually go mad. And you look at now products with lead in them, right, or mercury or anything like that, and you vaccines, right, and you're like, okay, the Mad Hatter. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, right? Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Damn,
and then, so what were you saying about underlying things you brought up?
No, we were
Alice in Wonderland.
And I was just talking about Disney, and as we're talking about some of these movies, you see how there's an underlining theme of like magic, sorcery,
For sure.
wizardry. And when you look into, go ahead.
The parent and the ones that they typically use animal symbolism for whatever reason.
Yes,
a
that
parent
too.
dies.
There you go.
Bambi, her parent died. Nemo, his parents died. Fucking Lion King, his fucking dad died.
Which me and you know is symbolism for when you split somebody's psyche, you know what I mean? And then that leaves them more vulnerable or open to different impulses or influences.
Yeah, a lot of that people is
that trauma
is influenced directly from CIA programs, which were adopted by Nazi programs. You have to go back, and the Nazis were into esoteric studies, occultism, and during Operation Paperclip, which was the CIA at that time, the head of the CIA, in DC. The airport is Dulles Airport.
Correct.
Okay, that was the head of the CIA at that time. His last name was Dulles. I forget his first name. He had a very close friendship with Heinrich Himmler from one of the Nazis, one of the main Nazis.
Operation Paperclip.
Right. Well, one of the second in control. So the plan he devised was he would show forged documents for these Nazi scientists who had in fact committed war crimes and atrocities, human experiments, all kinds of crazy shit, and showed that they didn't commit them so that they could adopt them into programs. Oh God, what is his name? Von Bronner, or look it up. The head of NASA, the guy who started NASA for us, he was a Nazi scientist. A lot of guys. There's a lot of interesting things too that correlations around that same time. The Barbie doll. One of the main guys, one of the main Nazis, his name was Klaus, Klaus, Barbie, Barbie.
Interesting.
And the Barbie doll is blonde hair with blue eyes,
Right.
which was their depiction of the master race.
Correct.
And that came out at the same time. And I don't know anyone named Barbie. I don't know any reference to a woman named Barbie prior to that.
And they still admire that Barbie culture to today.
Absolutely. You've
There's
seen
rappers,
you've seen the
female rappers
videos.
that
Well,
are
also you've
Barbies.
seen the videos where the black girls will go into the fucking and they're videotaped. It's like a psychotherapy type session.
Oh yeah, I know.
And they go to the fucking white Barbie doll and they're like, well, why didn't you pick that one? And it's like, well, because it's ugly. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why do you think that? Well, because that's what's in society all the time.
So there you go. What's been fed to us. And even when, because see, Disney has been championed for having messages that have a moral or, you know, have a message uplifting or even the diversity. But then some people call them out for their cultural appropriation. I'll be looking at it like, why do they always show like the people that are in like the one that comes to mind is Moana or something like that. When they show cultures that are like you know, Tongan or Hawaiian or, you know, island cultures, they show the female beautiful wavy hair and then they show the male looking like all crazy big and like savage or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you
like
mean.
A caveman. So they have a way of incorporating culture, but then at the same time perverting it and just using it to make money. But hey, man, to each his own. I know some people like the one about the Day of the Dead. My wife really enjoyed that one. And, you know, I didn't see any problem with that one. So sometimes they do a good job. And that's what I'm saying. Nothing is all good or all bad. It's just having awareness of what's going on. Like you brought up the CIA. When I did look into Walt Disney, it was interesting that the CIA helped him get the land in Florida that he ended up turning into, you know, of course, the happiest place on earth. And yeah, they want to keep you happy. And then you look at adults, man, and they be really under that Disney spell because I swear adults are more excited about going to Disneyland than the damn kids. The adults take days off and have passes to do this and go often. No offense to people I love. I know some people that love to go to Disneyland. And shout out to them, man. But yeah, so, and also, like you said, the Pentagon has a wing devoted for cinema, you know. So we've already made the connections from the beginning to propaganda, but it never stopped, you know. So when I'm doing the research, I'm looking into Operation Paperclip, like you just established, Operation Mockingbird, you know, where the CIA was admittedly paying media and movie,
and it continues to this day
because they never said that they
never ended it.
Yeah, so
and then not only did they not say they stopped it, when George Bush spoke on it, or George H.W. Bush spoke on it, what he said, his exact words were, "It's no longer mandatory."
Correct.
Which means if what they were doing, people, in Operation Mockingbird, is they were paying Pulitzer Prize winning journalists. I'll repeat it one more time so you hear it. Pulitzer Prize winning journalists, people that you trust with the information that you obtain for your day-to-day lives. They were paying these people and are paying these people to falsify stories and to speak the narrative in which furthers their agenda. And this is known as Operation Mockingbird. Now, it was admitted to by George H.W. Bush, and what he said was not that it was over, but that it was no longer mandatory, meaning that they weren't forced to anymore. But if they wanted to make a quick buck or a nice little bit of money, these Pulitzer Prize winning journalists that you trust will do so, and they'll make money. And, what's amazing is the original film, the original motion picture that they showed was, and not the CIA, but the first motion picture ever shown to the public was a train pulling into a train station. Have you seen that?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's all good. The first motion picture that they ever showed to the public was a train pulling into the train station. Okay? Have you seen that?
Nah.
Okay. No one had ever seen a motion picture before. So they're sitting there and they're like, okay, this is interesting. Like, we're at a train station. They see the train coming. Bro, they got up and fucking ran, dude.
Oh, you're talking about the very first
motion
I looked
picture.
into the history. I didn't really see that. I saw something like that was moving in circles before motion pictures were actually motion.
So that's what happened. And they panicked. They're like, oh. So imagine that's what it made them feel like. So imagine the control that it actually has on us.
Right.
Okay. And then you look at, we've talked about in Hollywood, you know, and the Druids made their magic wands from holly trees,
right.
which is where you get Hollywood from.
Right.
And they used the Magi as channels to, program people. And now you have channels on the, what you said earlier, the television.
Right.
Right. It's not just tele, like TELE vision. It's tell a vision. You are going to be told what to think. You will be told what to envision. Tell a vision. You will be told their vision. You will be programmed through a channel.
Right.
Similar to a medium.
Straight up and down.
Exactly. They admitted to this in the 1940s that they used psychological warfare as in motion pictures, and our government declared it on us. Okay. Dulles, again, helped Ian Fleming write 007 to give the CIA kind of a cool guy way. We're just cool vibes. Like, hey, R.I.P. Sean Connery. Damn.
Yes, sir.
Dead at 90. And I love him. Original James Bond. But all that Ian Fleming shit was given to him by Dulles, by the head of the CIA. You know, and again, back to what you were saying, piggybacking on what you were saying with Operation fucking Mockingbird.
Right.
William J. Casey, director of the CIA from 1981 to 1987, quote, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is a lie."
We're getting there, right?
Okay.
We're getting there.
And it was revealed in the church committee in 1975. 1975. And even Harry S. Truman, way back in the day, bro, right after World War II, he said this, and I quote, "There's something about the way the CIA has been functioning that is casting a shadow on our historic position of freedom, and I feel we need to correct it." Yeah. That's way back after World War II, dude.
Right.
Right? And then you got a Senator Monahan proposed a bill twice in 75 and 95 to dismantle the CIA, bro. 1 year after that, in 96, the CIA, back to what you were saying, bro, develops the CIA Entertainment Liaison Office, bro. And that's, Chase Brandon writes, The Recruit. Remember that with Colin Farrell and Al Pacino? And they're so cool. Colin Farrell's just like this hip, slick stud. He's out here fucking murking dudes. You know what I mean? And Al Pacino's like, "I'm the guy that talks like this." Oh, my God, bro. And it's just like all this bullshit that they feed, bro. Like almost 100% of everything that comes out of Hollywood has the CIA's fingerprints on it. And that's a fucking fact, bro. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right.
That's insane. Oh, General William J. Donovan was one of the lawyers in charge of purchasing parcels of land for Walt Disney in Florida. And he served in military intelligence in World War II. A fucking general, bro, who's a lawyer now. What the fuck? And none of the businesses, corporations that purchased that land, none of it has Walt Disney's name on it.
And then the crazy part is we just think cartoons, right? Because I did want to focus on cartoons and we can still stay there.
Please do.
But the only reason I'm bringing up a wider scope for everybody is Disney's arm of media is amazing. If anybody wants to just Google Disney's, like, there's a graph. It looks like Mickey Mouse's ears, two damn devil horns. Their grasp is so crazy. Like they own like ABC, ESPN, like
everything.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Like I don't even want to sit here and name it. So
Marvel.
Like, yeah, exactly.
All that shit, bro.
It's not just Disney.
Yeah.
And then
there's 6 media corporations in the U.S. We've talked about that on
Disney
previous
just bought,
podcasts.
like one. So I think there's only down like to 4 now.
Yeah. Think about this, guys. In the early 80s, there was over 50. There was over 50 media corporations. Okay? So at least there was 50 individuals telling you what to fucking believe. Okay? There's 50 points of view. It's down to 5 with that merger that James was just talking about. 5.
And then I saw that this is on a whole different level. Inside Disney, I think it's the one here in Los Angeles, bro. There's a Club 33.
No, there isn't.
There's a Club 33
No, there's not.
inside of Disneyland. And
No.
it's private. It's a private for members only. It's kind of a hidden thing. But it's not hidden to the point where you can't Google it.
Are you serious, bro?
You can Google Club 33.
There's a
Disney.
Club 33.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know what 33
Hold on, bro.
means, 33 is a very important number.
Please.
I think you have 33 vertebrae in your spinal cord.
You do.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's in Freemasonry, there's 33 degrees.
There it is.
And they go even a step further in that the 33 and a third degree is the most elite, secretive part of Freemasonry, which makes the most sense because 33 and a third times 3 makes a complete circle. And that makes a lot more sense than 33 times 3.
This explains a lot of the symbology in a lot of the movies, the cartoons, the sexualization, the use of the word sex.
Jesus fucking Christ. There is a club. I'm sorry, brother, not to cut you off.
No,
There's
I wanted you to Google it.
Jesus. Club 33 is a set of private lounges located in 3 of the Magic Kingdoms, which are parts of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. The first location of the private club is located in the heart of New Orleans Square with Walt Disney's original Disneyland. Wow. In New Orleans Square, too.
You can't make this shit
Voodoo
up, bro.
and all that shit.
For real, though, right?
How do you get into Club 33?
Yeah.
There are only 2 ways to get into Club 33. Being an exclusive member or being invited by one.
There it is. Just what,
That's
what
like
does
some
that sound like?
Freemasonry shit,
Oh,
bro.
my.
Are you
You
serious?
can't make this shit up, bro.
Oh, my God, bro. Membership costs up to $100,000 annually with a reported $12,500 to $30,000 in additional annual fees. As of 2012, there was a 14-year waiting list for membership applicants. Wow, dude.
I'm telling you, I have all kind of
Wow.
other shit I wanted to talk about, but then I started looking and everything started pointing to Masonic
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Like, occultist shit. And I was like, well, I guess
Wow.
that fits with what we're talking about anyway.
That is insane, dude.
Another one we didn't bring up,
Oh my
Pinocchio.
God, dude.
Pinocchio has some weird.
What about that weirdo?
It's like that story was based on some other historic story. You know, Disney often takes old classics and just reimagines them. I don't even want to.
Well, what is Fantasia about? Fantasia as a kid scared me.
That's another one about.
It scared me.
Like he's high as shit, huh?
It scared me.
Right. A lot
So
of these
I'm
things
like,
are
yo, bro.
traumatizing.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, what are you doing? I didn't like Fantasia when I was a kid.
Man.
People were like, you want to watch it? I'm like, nah, I don't like that shit.
Peter Pan with the hook, you know, and Pan. We know what Pan is, and he's got the boys. You know the. What is it? They
know
don't
what you're
want to
talking
grow
about.
up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
all
yeah,
of that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. The
Subliminal
Lost
is
Boys.
weird, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about just different cartoons, and then you get to looking into it, and I knew it was gonna go down this route, but you can't avoid it. Like, and then I want to talk about how some cartoons deal with like the creationist story, which is interesting too, because it's another medium for historic relics, or just things that we're interested in, origins of thought and of man and good and evil and all of that. Like when you go back to like He-Man and even like Avatar for more recent. I think they're doing a new Avatar too.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So
I can't imagine what that special effects are going to be like.
I know that's going to be crazy.
Well,
Avatar is deep, because it has some meanings. Like today, even my wife be pointing out stories like, what was that one? The Lorax. Where they were trying to sell air or something like that. So there's like these cartoons be trying to break through to us, like, but it's way over what the kids, unless they're trying to spark something in the next
Look at the Lego
generation.
movie, bro.
What's that one talking about?
What's the main character's name?
Tell me.
Emmett.
Ah, what's up, Emmett?
Spelled E-M-M-E-T.
Ah.
Boom. I got my little moment of shine in the Lego
you
movie.
in there.
Biatch.
And
But
shout out to the anime crowd too, because I know a lot of people are into the anime, and a lot of those deal with like air bending and different like superpowers and
Right.
different but natural, using
Right.
the earth, like I was saying, like Captain Planet.
Mm-hmm.
So there are good cartoons out there. I remember when I was a kid, there was one Mighty Max that I was into, and he was like the chosen one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of these cartoons deal with that good and bad energy, and some of them speak to you and uplift you, but some of them are like perverted and
Right.
just fucking weird and like
Right.
not really meant for children. So
Not
you
at
gotta
all.
really be
Well, it all
cautious,
goes
man.
back to MK Ultra
MK, and I
because
wrote
you
that
have
down
to
too.
get them. You
Let's
have to get
into
them
that.
between 1 and 8 years old.
Thank you.
When you get them in that window between 1 and 8,
I want to make adults uncomfortable because they're getting our children, bro.
What
and
they
I'm
do
tired of this shit.
is they traumatize them with certain aspects of these cartoons
Mm-hmm.
and subliminally, and it's the same thing. They know what causes multiple personality. MPD, multiple personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
They know what causes it, so they use that sexual trauma and things of that nature to inflict that on these kids. You brought up Disney. If you look up certain scenes in Disney, like if you look at the Magic Castle in the background,
Yes.
you can see a dick as one of the pillars.
A lot
like
of
it's straight up
phalluses
is a pillar.
throughout their stuff, man.
It's not even a phallus, it's a dick. I know what you mean by phallus because I
Yeah.
see it all the time, but this
Phallic
is a
symbols,
Yeah, this is
dicks,
a
yeah.
this is for sure, but this
Yeah.
one is a straight up dick. Like it's drawn and it's like,
I
yo,
think
that's
the
a
Little
dick,
Mermaid
fool.
has one in that
Yeah,
same.
and then the
castle
Disney,
scene.
the Walt Disney shit. If you read it, the eye that's dotted and all that shit like that, that says 666.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. And there's all kinds of weird shit in there. So that's all things that they know how to do that. And the MK Ultra program, for those of you who don't know, was a CIA program where they were actually credited for bringing in the age of Aquarius, and that's like all the hippies and stuff like that, dude. They were credited with bringing that in because of all the experiments
And
they
here
did with
they
LSD.
thought they were just being free.
Right.
Again, it shows how the liberal movement is used against people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. But they thought that what happened was they were doing so many experiments with LSD, it ended up leaking into the streets where they're like, fuck it, let's give it to the population and all this shit. You know what I mean? And exactly what you said. People think like, oh man, I'm gonna do this and do that, and it's just another way of these motherfuckers fucking with people. Now at the end of the day, people are making chemicals now, and it's different. It's not all directly related to the CIA, but that shit did not get into the streets. Think of how clean and like dandy life was in the 1950s. And you're telling me LSD came out of that into the 60s? No way. And not on an accident. You know what I mean? Obviously was released here. Try that one.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, check this out. So it's MK Ultra. Look it up for yourself. CIA mind control program.
Before you move on from MK Ultra,
I'm not going to.
you're keeping there?
Yeah,
All right, good, 'cause
I'm
I
not,
wanted to speak
bro.
on that.
It's so consistent with what we got to talk about now.
Continue then.
Yeah, it's on now. It's on. We're banging on MK Ultra. So in 1952, a document states this is what the goal is, and I quote: "Controlling." This is MK Ultra. Controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws as self-preservation. Again, in 1975, the Church Committee, bro, found this out. Again, in 1975, the Church Committee found this out. It's a real program that uses mental, physical, and sexual abuse and psychotropic drugs to fucking brainwash people, bro.
Strong enough to reverse the universal law of self-preservation.
Exactly. That shit's crazy, bro. And then there was a dude named Dr. Cameron,
We're
bro.
drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
They decided to test Americans, right? So there's a doctor named Dr. Cameron at Ravenscraig, and they said he went further with inducing people under this state of LSD
Than anyone, yeah.
and electroshock, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? I mean, you've never done it, but I've done LSD, bro. If you electrocuted me while I was frying on LSD, I'd be devastated, bro. You would completely fuck up my trip, bro. I would be so fucking scared. I'd be terrified. So I can't imagine. And the doses, I did a little thing on paper, bro. They had fucking hypodermic needles filled up with LSD, dude.
Man.
And I'm like, yo, dude, how much did you give these motherfuckers, bro? They were branding women, and the women are still alive to this day.
I saw that. It was a cult.
Yeah, exactly. So, his goal was to like brainwash, wipe the mind, bro. He would play messages, repetitive messages, 250,000 times to brainwash people, dude. Like some Manchurian Candidate shit. It's called psychic driving.
Right. So now I'm going to tell you what my conclusion was, because we kind of fast forwarded there.
Please
and
do.
I'm ready for it.
Please do.
We're all under MK Ultra.
Sure. Man, I believe you.
If there's a minor and a maximum, or a micro and a macro, the situations you just explained of the actual people who are they're locked down, or they're being tested on physically, like actually being physically put through these things against their will or not against their will. That's the micro. The macro to me is what we're pointing out right now.
Right.
These cartoons,
right.
The messaging, the television, the media through the radio, just the bombardment of information being given to you, a narrative being given to you.
And you might be asking, James.
And then what they say,
I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Electric shock. What are the other things that they do? And then drug inducement.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all on drugs. If it's
we
not
are right
pharmaceuticals, it's self-induced, or if it's through the food, the medicine, the air, whatever it is. Yeah, we're medicated. So to me, in a small level, we're all under the spell, the MK Ultra.
Hey.
And the only way to break it is, like, to me, this is what I do. I do little stupid shit, like, but it makes sense to me. My wife knows this, but I be wanting people to fucking follow suit and do it more. And they gonna mute me for this on social media or on the YouTube. But when I hear an ad come on, when I'm watching television at the crib, obviously I'm not gonna get up and turn the TV off, or turn the TV off every single time. So what I do, bro, is I mute it.
Oh, yeah.
Because to me, that's so powerful, because obviously I want to watch shit on demand anyway with no advertisements, because I want to be in control of all the content that I'm taking in, because they be just trying to give you shit. Even if you think you're controlling it because you're watching the programming you picked, they give you these advertisements and these different things that you can't control. You know what I'm saying? And I don't be feeling that. So I'm even very cautious of that, because that's where the programming is really at, is the advertisements. That's who wants your attention, is the advertisements.
You better believe it.
Even the radio, you can't get away from it. I hear so much fear on the radio right now, and I don't listen to the radio, but like I told you, I got a new car, so when I first hop in, the radio comes on, and if it's a jam that I like or whatever, if Big Boy's on, I might let it ride for a little bit before I plug in, my own title or whatever that I want to listen to. But the radio is just bombarding people right now with fear. And since I'm disconnected, I can see it. But I understand how people that aren't disconnected and are just in it, that shit is so crazy, because it just builds your world. And people don't even realize how their world is being fed to them.
Right.
And they think that they're free. You know what I mean? And they're going to keep on taking our freedoms based on us trying to feel safe. That's all I hear them saying. Be safe. Do it for others. Be safe. Make the safe decisions. All this safe. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. Well, another thing they do too, man, which is really crazy, and a lot harder, impossible really to detect, is when it's not overt like that, is they have piggyback broadcast signals, and they put subliminal signals.
Speak on it.
Subliminal signals on top of the actual broadcast signal. So you may be watching a fucking episode of the Golden Girls in syndication. You have no idea. It's just Sophia acting like Sophia again. And they got crazy fucking subliminal messages, which they're able to layer on top of the actual broadcast signal. It's like when you're doing music, you have separate tracks for each instrument. And it's the same with the broadcast. There's separate frequencies to the broadcast that they're able to access, and they can put different layers of information on each one. And the crazy thing is, the CIA director at the time, Richard Helms, he ordered this dude, Sidney Gottlieb, and he was the director of technical services to destroy all MK Ultra files. Okay, so no documents or evidence of the program exist, but the CIA has never said it never existed, and they've never said that it doesn't still exist. And that's where it comes back to what you were discussing with me earlier, is that Hollywood is a mass MK Ultra program.
The moon landing coordinates don't exist anymore, and that's part of Hollywood as well.
Exactly. So their purpose, their overall purpose in Hollywood, is to capture the minds of the masses.
Oh, they've done it.
And feed them false information.
The
CIA is funneling them information, and then Hollywood is putting it into movies and television, and the population fucking believes
That's
it.
why we got to get out of this.
Like that.
We got to travel, bro. I'm not saying move. I'm not saying
for
run
sure.
from the problem. I'm not saying leave, abandon ship. I'm saying we got to travel.
Right.
I got to see the problem from the outside, looking back. I've been outside the country, but I was young, and the other time I went for vacation.
Right.
I want to go take Kush And Chemtrails.
Man, I'm
on the
with you,
road,
bro.
man.
I'm with you right here.
Because we got to do it.
I'm with you, G.
But
Well, look, we talked about the 6 companies,
we're
right?
under a spell, man. We're under a fucking
Man,
spell,
come on.
bro. And the ones that call it out, you just get ridiculed. You can't be a visionary and not be ready to be called crazy, you know?
Well, you better believe
And
it.
it's crazy because I often get in the conundrum of using people like Kanye West.
Yo, your fucking vocabulary, you better stop, bro. Conundrum. What was the last episode? Capitulation?
I know I haven't done my...
You're like Sergeant Slaughter when it comes to the fucking vocabulary, dude. It's crazy, bro.
I'm Major Pain, baby.
It's
I
ridiculous.
want to watch Major Pain with my wife. And
I can't
kids.
keep up. This guy sent me I think I mentioned it in the last pod, but he sent me a text not too long ago, and I had to Google what the fuck it even meant. And I consider myself someone who has a pretty, extensive vocabulary.
But that's likewise, brother. You teach me, I teach you. That's why we do this.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just giving you props, bro. I feel you.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But so trip on this. So we talked about the 6 companies that run Hollywood, right? So the early communication companies, dude, most of them were developed for like shipping and aviation. They're commissioned by the military, the government, Pentagon, intelligence services, all that shit. Okay. Trip on this. 2 guys. David Sarnoff, U.S. Army General. Guess what he did after he retired from Army?
Went to Hollywood.
Founder of NBC.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, trip on this.
Maybe going back and forth.
Trip on this. William S. Paley. This is cold right here, bro. Director of Radio Operations for Psychological Warfare.
Damn.
Founder of CBS.
There he is. Psychological warfare, man. What's happening?
And what is CBS's symbol? The eye. The all-seeing eye. Psychological warfare.
Wait, real quick before you keep going.
Go, G.
Because you brought
Go.
up frequencies,
Please.
and now you're bringing up the connection between Hollywood and the government. Frequencies are deep. We brought this up on a different podcast, and I told people to Google it, that there's love frequencies, healing frequencies, different tonalities.
You better believe it.
And the music that they give us is not a frequency that vibes well with our body. And that
Not
was
at all.
done purposely. It was actually changed at one point. You can Google that too. Look it up. So I say that to say, we also know what frequency has just changed is the technology. I'm not even going to say what it is, but we all know that the speeds of the phones and the data that we get just got faster. AT&T is broadcasting what they saying is faster. T-Mobile is putting out commercials telling you guys it's faster. And we're not talking about that. I know when you guys drive down the street, you see the fake trees or the new towers erected because this new technology needs more towers because it doesn't go through buildings. It doesn't transfer data as far. You get higher speeds, but they need more transmission towers. So that's another frequency change that just happened right in front of our eyes. And we haven't attributed that to anything that's going on around us, which is a mistake, which is a big mistake.
Huge. So trip on this. just to further along, because we got to say the MK Ultra, dude. You guys got to understand. I first read about this about 22 years ago, in the book "Behold a Pale Horse."
Oh, sorry. The reason why I brought that up is because those frequencies can be used as weapons as well.
Motherfucking
just like
right.
you just said, the psychological warfare guy. Now he's working for the media.
Yeah.
Well, those weapons have been used by the government as weapons. I mean, I said those weapons have been used as weapons. That technology has been used as weapons. But now the technology is being sold to us as convenience for faster speeds and stuff. But it has the capability to be used as weapons, just like my psychological warfare, man. That's
they had
connect the dots, people.
And Behold a Pale Horse. He's got I think the second chapter or maybe the first chapter is called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And that's what this whole thing is about.
Right.
That's what that whole thing is about.
Because people aren't moving like we're at war. They think everything's hunky-dory. They're waiting for normal to come back.
Yeah.
You know what people are waiting for, G? 2021. They think 2021 is about to
wait
take
till
all
it gets
this away.
here. They're going to be stoked when it gets here.
Sorry, you guys.
No, it's going to get worse. So trip on this. So then in the late 60s and early 70s, and I was born in 77, but when I was a kid, I remember a lot of these movies being like the shit when it came to scary movies. You got these types of movies. You got The Exorcist. Have you seen that shit?
I know of it.
Okay. Amityville Horror.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's when the house comes alive and fucks with all those people. I think, what's his name is in it? The kid from the Goonies. What's his name? His dad is Josh Brolin. His dad is the fucking main character in that one. Anyways, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and Rosemary's Baby. Okay? At the same time,
classics.
At the same time, the Church of Satan is on the rise in LA. Okay? And people are like, the Church of Satan, like what like, oh, don't tell me it's another like link with Hollywood and Satanism. It's like, bro, it's kind of the only link. All right?
Right.
And you look at this, Eddie Murphy is in an interview with, there's a show, Jerry Seinfeld. You guys look this up. Go on YouTube and you can look this up for yourself. Jerry Seinfeld has a new show where he interviews people in his cars and drives around town. Exactly. It's on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but he's got Eddie Murphy on there. And Eddie Murphy's talking about this really strange fucking encounter that he had with Sammy Davis Jr. If you don't know who Sammy Davis Jr. is,
Rat Pack.
He was part of the Rat Pack. He was friends with Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, and really famous individual in in the 20th century. So they're at a restaurant. Have you been to Dantana's before?
Mm-mm.
Okay, they were at Dantana's. And I don't think I've ever been there, but when you and I worked at Ready to Roll, I used to see it on reservations. I don't think I've ever been there either, but I've seen it before.
I just know those fancy places from when I worked there.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, they're having dinner, and he tells them, "Fucking, hey man, Satan is just as powerful as God." And this is Sammy Davis Jr. If anyone knows what he looks like.
He said, "Hey, baby."
Yeah, he's like a little skinny guy. Like, you would never expect this dude to go off like some shit like this. So he goes, yeah, Satan is more powerful or just as powerful as God. Why do you think there's so much anger, death, destruction, hate, and blah, 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 blah in the world? And then Eddie Murphy kind of had this like weird look on his face, so he kind of like chilled out. And him and in this interview, him and Jerry Seinfeld kind of go on to laugh about it. But what isn't funny is there's pictures in the 70s of Sammy Davis Jr. with Anton LaVey. And Anton LaVey is the head of the Church of Satan in LA. Well, I think he passed now. But right?
I don't know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's crazy, right?
Oh, yeah,
like, that's insane.
For sure.
And what I'm saying is even deeper is I spoke with someone today who knows somebody who's in the entertainment industry, and this certain individual always mentions that they are devil worshipers, and this person is a prominent figure in the entertainment industry. And my friend, he was pretty uncomfortable with the conversation, and he's kind of like, okay, well, whatever. And so I'm talking, that was a couple weeks ago before I even was doing the research for this week's podcast. And then I talked to my friend today before the podcast, and I go, yeah, I brought up Anton LaVey, and he's like, whoa, this chick she has books. She has books by Anton LaVey. She said she's a devil worshiper, and she has books.
It's like becoming more acceptable now, even like witchcraft and stuff, you know. There's a name, I'm not into it, but there's people like that are
like Wiccan.
Yeah, there you go.
Wiccan, yeah. I don't know the difference between Wiccan and Satanism and all that, but I think Wiccan is kind of like more of on the positive vibe. I think
I'm not trying to compare them.
I know. I'm just saying that they're, just so you know, I think that their pentagram is right side up.
Okay.
I don't think they do the old inverted pentagram. But anyway, so back to that, dude. So then it goes to Michael Aquino, who started the Temple of Set, the Satanic Temple of Set in fucking San Francisco, as a high-ranking member in the National Security Agency, bro. High-ranking officer. And he was training people at the Presidio in San Francisco. 50 counts of child pedophilia, of molestation.
Good Lord.
Fucking little boys. They said he was running a sex ring out of there. Some satanic shit.
Man.
And he walked. And he's still affiliated. He's still in the Army. He's a lieutenant colonel, bro.
Shit.
Michael Aquino. Look him up. Michael, Aquino. Satanic Temple of Set. Okay? And he wrote a paper called Mind War, bro. And it's about psychological operations against large populations, including the U.S., using Satanist techniques and tools, bro. And it's shit they use in MK Ultra. They used it during Vietnam War as part of the Phoenix program. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. He fucking owns a dagger, dude, that belonged to the commanding general of the SS, bro. And he uses it for satanic rituals. Why?
See, once I see so much evidence, bro, I already be convinced. And this is the reason why a lot of people don't want to deal with these things, Smooth. And they'll hit you with the, but why? Or that doesn't affect me. Or,
Shit.
But you still have control.
Oh, it affects you.
This is why people, because they don't want to be held accountable. That's what I've come to the conclusion of, Smooth.
You're right.
People don't want to be accountable for their own freedom or their own thoughts. They like it. So I can't keep on worrying about people. I'm fighting for minds and the future generations.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because people need to hear this shit, man. And there's a way to do it, man. Like there's programs out there that you can give to your children in confidence, but just monitor what your children are watching and do it with a purpose. Like, don't just set them in front of the TV like a babysitter. You know what I'm saying? Like little things. Like I was looking at Netflix and All Dogs Go to Heaven. I used to love that movie, but that's even like a dark movie. And the picture on the Netflix has like the dog in a dark scene with a bunch of little dogs around him, and he's holding up a piece of pizza. And I was just like, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah. It's fucking weird, bro.
I know. It'd be like some just the littlest things. So it's just be like, be vigilant and understand that a lot of this stuff is energy, man. And I ain't all into saying negative. This is another thing too. Negative isn't always bad, because negative, when you break down the etymology on it, it means negative. You know what I mean? So actually being negative is necessary in this situation.
So what would that be, like the absence of? Negative?
Yeah, like the way I look at it is like closing the gate. Like sometimes
I like it.
Sometimes people don't like when you're negative, because you have to be the authority. You have to be the one that says something, or you don't just go with the flow.
Right.
I think that's what this podcast is. We're being negative, and that makes people uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
When you challenge what they're used to. So people always want to tell you, be positive, be positive. Well, no, because every situation doesn't call for positivity. You know what I mean? I know what they mean. They're saying, think positive,
right.
Like as in affirmations.
Oh, yeah.
But no, yeah, you plan and yeah, you do affirmations, but every situation isn't positive. What if it's an uncomfortable conversation I have to have with someone? I have to be stern. I have to be serious.
Absolutely.
Tough love is a thing too. But we're kind of absence of that in this era, where they're turning everything upside down, where left is right and up is down. So yeah, man.
Well, that all has to do with uniformity.
Right.
getting everyone on the same page. So, if you're uniform, it's easier to control. But so check it out. That dude Aquino, I told you he wrote that psyop thing called Mind War. Okay, so this is what it states. The masses can be subdued by inflicting a state of psychological terror and feelings of imminent destruction. All movies have that.
Yeah.
This goes back to what we're talking about with the movies. Not all movies, but they do that to us in the movies. Yeah. 2012, The Day After Tomorrow. Just complete terror and like, dude, we're going to fucking
Even
die.
the cartoons, the villains often wanted to end the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Power
then
Rangers.
He discusses the use of psychotronic weapons. You know what those are, bro? They fucking make you hear voices or can make you physically ill. They used them in the first Gulf War. There was a bunch of Iraqis that were fucking huddled up somewhere, and they didn't want to surrender. And part of his guard, whatever his guard was called, I forget what they were called, right? The fucking Radio Rahim or whatever the fuck they called themselves. They were called the Mashin Baling or whatever. Right. So they were hauled up somewhere, and he fucking they did this fucking psychotronic shit on them. Yo, they got sick, bro. And they were vomiting and shit. And within like minutes, they gave up. Like, yo, whatever you're doing, stop. Like, we give up, okay? That's what they talk about using psychotronic weapons. Electromagnetic weapons, okay? You already know what that is. That influence the mind, okay? Now, with extremely low frequency signals, what I told you, piggybacked on broadcast radio, TV, and microwave communications in order to influence and manipulate the thoughts and feelings of target populations. These ongoing MK-Ultra operations are functioning as a counterinsurgency and infiltration operation aimed at destabilizing the United States and other industrialized nations.
So again, we're under MK-Ultra to some extent.
Bro, yes.
Now.
Yes.
And the people that we see that are celebrities that we think of being under the extreme version of it, with the electric shock and the medicine being put on you, the psychotherapy, what they tried to do to Kanye West. He tried to describe it in Joe Rogan's podcast, so in so many words, I think he wanted to tell us like that's what they were trying to do, put him back under his programming, because a lot of these people have handlers.
They have to.
They don't have family. Family can't even hardly get to these people. No. They have people that are taking care of them. And then that's why these things like conspiracies come out, because, bro, when you don't have the people that love you and are close to you, can't even access you, and then something happens to you, then we're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who are these people
Think
around
about it,
you,
guys.
and how come they let this happen?
These people, these influencers, as they're called now, have hundreds of millions. What, Taylor Swift has 128 million?
Sheesh.
128 million followers. That's
Some of
more
them are bigger than the network.
I was just saying.
Influence.
That's more than fucking like a television station. You'd be lucky if 128 million people watch your television program
consistently.
And yet this fucking chick is just going to post some fucking like regular ass shit of her making bacon and eggs and get 50 million views. Right?
Yeah.
At least. So they have to pull the reins in on these individuals. They have to, and don't think that they level the playing field. I mean, it just doesn't even add up. It's completely against the the structure. Fuck it. The structure of power. It's completely against it. So trip on this, dude. Frank Zappa. Are you familiar with that dude?
Speak on it.
Okay. Frank Zappa is a musician that came out in the late 60s, like in the Vietnam era.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. He grew up out in Laurel Canyon. You know what Laurel Canyon, where that? Okay. A lot of the kids that grew up out there was an Air Force base, bro. And they ended up in the entertainment industry. Now, they spoke out against the Vietnam War and whatnot, but yet their parents were directly connected to this guy in particular, Frank Zappa. His father worked at the Edgewood Arsenal, which, the street Edgewood out in Hollywood. There's a street called Edgewood.
Okay.
That's what it's named after. They did biochem studies, psychotropic drug studies. They used VX nerve gas on U.S. troops. and they were also involved in the MK Ultra program. And he's like a big entertainer from the 60s, right?
Again, another Hollywood
exactly
connection.
Planet
It's
almost.
just all over
It's
the
like, right,
place.
okay, no, trip on this.
Go
I know
ahead.
you've heard of the Doors, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim Morrison, huge, and he's part of the 27 Club. He OD'd like in 72 or some shit like that. His father was the commander of the Gulf Fleet in the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Damn.
Do you know the Gulf of Tonkin incident?
I'm not good with names.
Bro, that's where it
Oh,
was the false flag to start the Vietnam War.
yes, I do know that.
His
Yes.
fucking dad was the commander. I love the Doors, bro. Jim Morrison's like dope as fuck to me. Riders on the Storm. People are strange when you're a stranger, right? All that shit. Like, I'm like, yo, this dude's a G. And you're telling me that his dad was the commander of the fleet in the Gulf of Tonkin when the whole thing was a false flag. They said the USS Maddox got attacked, and it wasn't. They put ghost ships out there in the Gulf to make it look like they were getting attacked by Vietnamese ships.
Yeah.
It never was attacked. No one ever died. Nothing, bro. And there's an Air Force base to this day called Lookout Mountain Air Force Base, U.S. Air Force Base. It's owned by Jared Leto, bro. Actor.
Wow. That's why these movies are interesting, but real life is much more interesting.
Telling you, bro.
They can't
fucking
write any
weird.
shit that's better than
Fucking weird,
the shit you
dude.
can uncover when you go digging.
It's weird.
The connections.
Yeah. And you look at the pedophile rings, right? And like now everyone, they try to discredit Pizzagate and they try to say, oh, it's like QAnon. It's QAnon. Yo, man, I know you and I just discussed how different Qs or sects of SECTS, that type of, not SEX, of this could have existed prior to.
Yeah, this
But-
goes back into history. This isn't just starting with this term.
But did can you attribute QAnon to Gary Coleman? Remember what was that show? Was it Three's Company with Philip Drummond and all them, right? And Gary Coleman. What you talking about?
No,
Willis?
that's not Three's Company.
No, that was John Ritter. That was Different Strokes.
Different Strokes. There
Okay,
you go.
so you got Gary Coleman. He struggled with drugs. Todd Bridges got on drugs. Dana Plato got on drugs and OD'd and posed for Playboy. Corey Haim, Corey Feldman said they were getting fucked. Corey Haim OD'd. He was a client at Ready to Roll. He OD'd. Drew Barrymore. There's pictures of Drew Barrymore. Google this, bro. Drew Barrymore, young, drunk at party. Go ahead. Look how young this girl is. Her mom is there. Adults are around her, and it's okay, bro. You're telling me they weren't fucking that little girl?
Right.
I know she's never said anything, or maybe she has, but there's no way that some weirdo wasn't. They got her all fucking drunk. Drew Barrymore, young, party, drunk.
Young party.
Dude, she had to go to AA when she was like 10, bro. Are you kidding me?
Damn, she wrote a memoir about it too. But yeah, I see the picture, man.
You see her
She
all
looks-
faded?
No, she looks like a baby, bro.
Come on, dude.
Why'd you make me see that? I was hesitant too, as you seen. I was hoping you would just keep talking.
That's what I'm saying. You guys go look at these things for yourself. QAnon wasn't around then.
saying
QAnon
that.
didn't make this up. right?
Say a nine.
And then then you got Liz Crokin, who broke the whole thing about Pizzagate. I know I'm not supposed to say these things, but
Did the girl that one of the recent pedophile rings that had a name to it? It was a cult. She just went to jail, didn't she?
yeah,
She was an actor, wasn't
you
she?
motherfucking right, dude. Allison Smack from Smallville, from the Nexium child sex trafficking cult. She was arrested in 2018 with Keith Raniere. And so trip on this.
It's a conspiracy till it's not.
Right, exactly. So Liz Crokin, she was working at the Chicago Tribune. She interned at Fox in Chicago at 17. She got a political science and journalism degree from the University of Iowa. She interned for Bill O'Reilly at Fox. Her last year of school, she interned at the White House. She worked at, like I said, the Chicago Tribune. She had her own column at the Chicago Tribune for 7 years. She worked at Us Weekly, In Touch, and then all of a sudden, she reports on fucking Pizzagate, and she's no longer credible. She had all those positions, and everybody was fine with her for years, 20 years. She reports on Pizzagate. She finds out about it, reports on it, and she's fired.
Just because she was asking the right questions.
And discredited.
Yep.
And she went on record. I will fucking debate anybody that thinks that they can fucking debunk it. You know, and then there's that guy, Edward Welch.
Hey, man, real quick before you
shout
move
it
on,
out,
bro.
please.
Shout out to all the whistleblowers.
Man.
I can't even say
Wow.
their names right now, but, man, because I remember when I saw the one come out on the CDC for the MMR vaccine, and that's not even, like, nothing so controversial. You guys could look that up because I don't speak on my piece on vaccines too much, but just people that take a stand and come out. The people that came out during this pandemic and said that there were treatments that they were using that were working for them, even though, you know, the powers that be want to tell you to do nothing pretty much and just go home and scare people, calling them super spreaders and keep us all in a fear state, you know. So, yeah, shout out to the whistleblowers in all areas of life and just people that put their life on the line and everything, you know, their family. And they go down in history sometimes and be forgotten, man. But they make our lives better and they give us information and little jewels that we can move on as a people, you know, like Eric Snowden and so many, man. I don't want to just say one because there's just so many that,
Absolutely.
like I said, I can't even,
Absolutely.
some I don't even know.
Look at William Cooper. He gave his life for the movement, bro. That's crazy.
To me, that's one of the most valiant things you can do is like.
It is.
Man.
So trip on this. That dude, Comet Ping Pong Pizza, remember that gross place?
Yes. Brother.
Okay. So this dude, Edgar Welch, gets arrested for shooting up. Well, not shooting up. He fired a shot into the floor inside there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he gets arrested. But the trip on this, the logo for the Boy Love logo, the pyramid logo that we've discussed on this program before.
Yes,
if you guys listening and on YouTube, go Google Boy Love logo. Okay, and then Google this, Besta Pizza in Washington, D.C. It was directly next door or adjacent near Comet Ping Pong Pizza and had the same logo, okay? Pizza and hot dogs are code words used by pedophiles, and you can check in the FBI.
My son watches freaking Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse. Stop letting him watch that, babe. Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's time for a sin.
Yeah, I know
hot
exactly.
hot diggity
I know exactly
dog.
what you're talking about.
And Mishka, Mushka, Mickey Mouse, and all these spells that they fucking putting on them. What the fuck is this shit about?
Weird shit, bro.
Transforming things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's all good, G. So, look that up, and then I implore you, look up the Boy Love logo, look up Besta Pizza, and it was by Comet Pizza. That's where he went up and shot it up. The owner of Comet Ping Pong Pizza is James Alefantis. Okay, now when this came out, you got to understand they're all in on this. All the media companies, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they're all full of shit. And Megyn Kelly, she comes out, she interviews him. She doesn't ask any questions about this dude's IG page. His IG page is littered with little kids doing weird shit, all kinds of weird art, all kinds of weird shit, dude, that at the very least, if it was anybody else, your ass would be in a sling, bro. I fucking promise you, dude.
Right.
It's fucking weird as fuck. And then we go even deeper. You look at those emails from Hillary Clinton's server. We talked about that before. Everyone was like, oh, she just sent emails out, blah, 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 blah. What's the big deal? Well, these emails, and you can look at it from the Freedom of Information Act, and you go into Podesta's emails, okay, and look up pizza, and you will go down a fucking...
They really like hot dogs.
A rabbit
pizza,
hole, bro. That it's insane, dude, because, like I said, pizza and hot dogs are used. You can look this up, too. The FBI has documented it. That's how pedophiles talk about little boys and girls, okay? And so you look at Podesta and Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington.
You did, I've looked at it before.
They look identical.
Yes, sir.
And then you look at the Linkin Park logo, and that looks like the Boy Love logo. A little tweak on it, but it looks like it, right? And then you go into the fact that Chester Bennington was indeed abused sexually as a child. He also, his father was a detective who investigated, you guessed it, sexual abuse crimes against children. That's fucking weird, bro.
Yeah.
And they said Podesta was a family friend. Maybe he was more than a family friend. Maybe the dad didn't really investigate. Maybe he was the inside guy to make sure everything was cool. Who knows what? But him and Chris Cornell, another singer, around the same time, decided they were hooking up. They were going to release this fucking information about these elite pedophile rings. Well, Chris Cornell hung himself first. And then Chester Bennington hangs himself. Okay, and I told you all those weird things going on, right, with the logos and shit. And then you look at the logo, you find it in weird places. We love sports. Look at Dwayne Wade. I told you earlier, Dwayne Wade's getting a shout out in the podcast today. Because Dwayne Wade had some motherfucking weird ass braids with the design of the boy love in his head.
Yep.
And then his son is transgender.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how your son can be transgender if he doesn't really understand what the fuck is going on yet. Mm-hmm. I don't know what is going on. And I'm not here to criticize or critique or make anyone feel bad.
Right.
But where there's smoke, there's fire. And I can't understand for the life of me how somebody would have accidentally put the Boy Love logo in their fucking hair as a design and then have a son afflicted with something as... That shit's been around for a while, that transgender shit and the transvestitism, but there's an agenda at play. You and I both know that.
No doubt.
And it's being done through the media. It's being done through what we eat. It's being done through what we drink. Okay?
We just pointing out what we see,
exactly.
Man. Hopefully they could connect
exactly.
the dots. You know what I'm saying?
And, yeah, it's
I haven't seen anybody refute anything in our comments yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
So I'm open to that, too.
And another thing, no law enforcement agency has invested Pizzagate. Not one of them. Not any credibility, not
Seems
all these
strange.
people saying it, but no one's investigating it.
Seems strange.
Okay, now trip on this. You can see this for yourself, people. I implore you, dude, please research this. Podesta, email, pizza, and read this. Quote, with fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic. I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. Moloch is the owl god that they worship at Bohemian Grove. What the fuck is that doing in his emails, bro? Why would he have that there? Epstein flight logs with Prince Andrew, Naomi Campbell, Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Cindy McCain. She said that everybody knew, but they couldn't do anything, man. He was untouchable. But yet she's the head of an organization that's supposed to protect kids, and her husband was a U.S. senator who ran for president. But there was nothing they could do. Nothing they could do. The Nexium, that cult, you know who funded it? You know Seagram's Gin? The Seagram heiresses, dude. Nancy Salzman and Claire Bronfman.
There's the money.
They owned a preschool in Mexico, dude, where they trafficked these kids.
Damn. That's what Trump was talking about with the Mexican border.
And I told you, are these missing kids, you know, when you get those mail inserts with the missing kids, are they really missing, or are those ads for fucking pedophiles?
Right.
This is what we got on the market.
You never know now.
Did they escape from some fucking lab? Do they have fucking some sort of knowledge or fucking power or something? Are they a threat? Or are they being sold? Or are they really missing? I don't know. These are just ideas. Wayfair.
Where'd that go?
What was that about?
What happened? You don't hear
Nobody
anything
orders
about
anything
that.
from Wayfair.
They
Why
put out
did
a
you
statement and it went away?
Yeah. Why did you name your products after missing people, and why did they cost so much? That's fucking weird, dude. That's really, 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 really weird. And when you look at MK Ultra, the civil lawsuit filed against the program, 90 victims, bro. 90 victims came out and said that, against Nexium. 90 victims came out against Nexium, and the human torture experiments explained are the same exact techniques used in the MK Ultra program.
So like me and you said, it never stopped.
It never stopped.
Just like Mockingbird.
It just has a different name.
Right. Woo! It just
has a different
hit him over
name.
the head, man.
Yeah. It just has a different fucking name. And then you look at like, what's her name? Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm.
She first started, bro. She was like a lame gospel singer.
Right.
No talent, nothing, garbage. Soon as she changed her image and she's dancing, she's the eye on top of the pyramid, and she's the dark horse, and she's got all these weird occultism symbols in her fucking occult symbols in her videos.
Yeah.
Now she's a star, bro.
Right.
Lady Gaga, she talks about Abramovich. And she said that Abramovich took her out in the woods, stripped her naked, and made her fend for herself and find her way back where she had to be. And that's exactly what MK Ultra does to kids, to split their personalities.
Right. Right. Man, this shit is crazy. And you brought up music videos. That's another correlation. Like we were saying, cartoons, they use the music.
Oh, yeah.
Because of these celebrities, like you said, the Katy Perry's, even, I hate to say it, I love her, Beyonce.
Yeah.
I've seen videos where they show her turning into Sasha Fierce or whatever, and she looks like she really turns into some type of demonic something. I don't know what Sasha Fierce is, but she morphs, and she even has said it in interviews, like something comes over her. So, yeah, man, and the symbology in these videos is sickening. It's just straight in your face now. The transhumanism, the merging of the genders, and then the cartoons, like you said, too, is one thing I was interested in, is how they often use animals amongst humans, or even animals with human-like characteristics, which I know that's a form of something that they do when you give, animals or inanimate objects human characteristics in theater. It makes them more, we can understand, or we can relate to these characters. So I get why they do it, but I look at it and I'm like, it goes with this agenda too, because it's more warm and fuzzy, so they can easily put things into the kid's face, and it seems so unharmful, because it's like a cute little cuddly thing, and it's also mixing again animals with humans, and humans with technology. So yeah, man, it's crazy, especially these new movies, because it went from like back in the day where they actually drew the cartoon, and now it's all CGI, which is also like DreamWorks and Disney's whole brain thing, and it's another form of that magic,
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
you know what I think needs to be really talked about? We're talking about cartoons. The Simpsons predicting the future.
Time travel.
And how everybody's okay with it.
Right?
And it's just like, it's cool how The Simpsons predicts the future all the time. Like, no, it ain't. The fuck are you talking about? The Donald Trump presidency, bro. They predicted that. Season 11, episode 17. It's called Bart to the Future.
Yep.
They predicted it. How about this? Correctly predicting the Super Bowl. Super Bowl fucking 26 correctly predicted the Washington Redskins. And then the next year, and then Super Bowl 29, San Francisco over the Chargers. And that's in season 3, episode 14, dude. Lisa the Greek. Oh, yeah. How about this? Disney buys 20th Century Fox, season 10, episode 5.
Damn.
Smartwatches, season 6, episode 19. Autocorrect, season 6, episode 8. Stealing cooking grease for cash. I don't know what the fuck that is. FIFA's corruption scandal and the World Cup results, season 25, episode 16. The Beatles sending belated fan mail, season 2. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack, bro. Season 5, episode 10. Remember that shit? When old boy got fucking attacked by the fucking tiger?
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. wins gold in curling. Bro. Curling. Bicep curls.
Right.
Season 21, episode 12.
I thought curling is the one on the ice.
Is it?
I don't know.
When the gold medals are...
I'm not a
curler. You're right. Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. You're right.
Man,
My bad,
curler,
John.
bro.
My bad. You're right.
I'm a curling expert.
Yeah, you got that vocab on lock. Let's see.
Yeah, man, the Simpsons are crazy, bro.
Lady Gaga's Super Bowl performance. Season 23, episode 22.
Even like the firmament and the dome. They put a dome on the Simpsons. Yeah.
Faulty voter machines, bro. Season 20, episode 4.
All right, they get the point. Stop it.
I
Stop
can't, bro. It's insane.
Mishka, Mushka, Mickey Mouse.
That shit's crazy.
What about the one that had everybody in a tizzy recently? It was Frozen, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I looked into that one a little bit. I forgot what they said the twist was on that one, but all of these movies have a twist, man. Like I said, I only could take in so much because once I see so much connections, I'm like, oh yeah, my mind's made up. But some people don't want to act.
No.
And I'm ready to act. Like, if I don't see benefit in my life to whatever it is that I'm consuming, I don't have time for that anymore.
Not at all.
Where other people just are like, well, it's easier just to go on like I've been going on. And I just can't live my life that way. So that's fine, man. I make people uncomfortable. So I try to just lead by example because it's really not that hard to me. But to some people it is, bro. I don't know. Their gut biome is fucked up. So all those bad bacteria in their gut keep telling them to eat the bullshit.
Oh, you better.
And that affects their heart and their mind. So they take in the bullshit and they just can't get over it. It's like a rut. And they look at me like, why is he so fucking happy? Or not even happy, but just content. It's just because I'm at peace, man. But it's an everyday thing because it takes the smallest little thing to get me agitated or irritated, and then I just gotta remember that I am the alpha and the omega of my experience. You know what I mean?
Right.
I am the great I am.
Right.
It is what it is, man.
It is.
So we just gotta take that deep breath, man. Drink some water.
My man.
That spring water. We done here?
I think we are. Another episode.
What we gonna leave them with?
Hey, you guys.
We need to make a cartoon of us. That's what they need to do.
Hey, you guys research everything we've been talking about. MK Ultra, Hollywood's connection with the CIA.
Protect the babies is what I think we've been saying.
Definitely. Take care of your family.
Man.
My man.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Peace, brother. Love you, man.
Get home safe.
Bew.
Love you.
All right.
Late.
Kush And Chemtrails.
Late.
Kush and Chemtrails, the world's most dangerous podcast.